Hello, thanks for coming to spend some time with me. Have you ever had one of those days or weeks or months where you just feel disconnected from yourself? You might be doing the normal daily things, answering emails, doing the washing up, doing whatever you have to do, but it's as though you're looking in on your life and not really in it, not really inhabiting it. And it's kind of, when that happens, it's easy to beat ourselves up and to assume that, we can snap out of it, or we're not trying hard enough to come out of it. But usually it's happening because there's some kind of underlying reason. It doesn't just happen on its own that we start to disconnect from body and mind. So today I wanted to spend a bit of time looking at what those underlying reasons might be. And if you're feeling disconnected, to help you maybe start to try and make sense of it. So let's just take a minute to look at these phrases. And these are things that I think we say to ourselves. It's like an internal voice, I feel numb, I feel detached, I don't know what I want anymore, I feel like I'm just going through the motions, I don't feel like myself, I feel alone, even when I'm around other people. So if this is how your internal chatter sounds, it's worth acknowledging how draining it is. It's not a failure, it's just a state of exhaustion. You know, when when your mind's always going around with these thoughts. So when we're saying I don't feel like myself, it usually means that our system has gone into some sort of battery saver mode because life has become a bit too loud or a bit too overwhelming to process all at once. And when we hit this point, it tends to show up across four distinct areas, I think. So we notice it physically. Perhaps we feel a bit clumsy or detached from our body. We're not fully inhabiting our body. Or we're feeling wired but not noticing. Or exhausted. Or it affects us emotionally, where our feelings feel kind of flat and grey. It can cloud things mentally, making it hard to concentrate. And it can affect us spiritually, where we lose that sense of intuition or flow or everyday meaning. So it's like a blanket of fog that just sort of descends, and we need to look at what brought it on. And I think there are 5 main triggers that I can think of. So stress is the first one. And by stress, I don't just mean a hectic afternoon, but that kind of longer lasting, low level, constant pressure. And it keeps you on edge until your system just has to shut down to take a break. And I think with that kind of stress as well, it sort of creeps up on you. You don't realize it's happening because you adjust gradually to the higher demands on you, taking on more and more and sort of pushing away more and more of yourself in order to get more and more done. So it creeps up on you without you realizing. Then there are life events, so big adjustments, moving house, a change in a relationship or a job, grief, things that take up much more processing power than we realize. Sometimes we think that it's just about planning and logistics, getting through changes, especially bigger life event changes. But actually, it takes up much more also internally in terms of our emotional or spiritual world. The next is second place, and by that I mean just always putting yourself at the bottom of the to-do list, living for everyone else until your own needs are sidelined. And then there's the digital world, so spending hours scrolling through screens, absorbing endless information, but not really connecting with anything that's meaningful for you. And then there's trauma, past or present, experiences that didn't feel safe, where your mind coped by numbing things down to protect you. So when you see it listed like that, it makes sense. And I just wonder, if you're feeling disconnected at the moment, are there any of these factors that may have been a trigger that may be underlying what's going on? Disconnection, it's just your body's practical way of forcing a time out. And because those root causes are heavy, they're not just small things, they're significant things, and they lead to the everyday symptoms that we see, like, starting to withdraw or choose isolation. Just because chatting and socializing takes energy that we haven't got, we face a deep, heavy exhaustion, and a night's sleep doesn't touch it. Or we have that feeling of emptiness and ordinary tasks feeling meaningless. I'm just thinking, if you look at the woodland behind these words, actually, nature does the same thing. I mean, not for the same reasons, but in winter, trees look dormant and withdrawn, and that's not a failure, it's just a necessary phase of rest before things can start growing again. And, it might be that your system is maybe just asking for its own brief winter, a time to withdraw and rest. Because if stress or exhaustion is leading to this, then you really do need to rest, but without feeling guilty. And if it's the digital world, maybe you can put the phone in the drawer for an hour, look out of the window, step into the garden, step onto your balcony, reconnect with your senses in a different way. Or if you've been putting yourself in second place, is there one thing you can do today that's just purely for you, even if it's just to sit down to have a cup of tea in peace for 5 minutes? You don't have to sort everything out this afternoon, but just recognizing why you feel a bit detached is the first step back to yourself. And being kind to yourself. Just be kind to yourself. So thanks for spending time with me today. I hope this has helped you think through your feeling of disconnection a little bit. In the description below, you'll find the link to a workbook, which is to help you make a bit more sense of your feeling of disconnection if you follow this over the month, because I'm doing this feeling disconnected for the month, and we'll do more videos, oracle readings, relaxation and journaling prompts. So join me if you'd like to, and if there's something that you're going through at the moment. Okay, see you soon, take care, bye bye.